Good evening, guys, and welcome down to this live with Dave Ainsworth. Hello, Dave. How you doing, mate?
Hello, I'm good, mate. You
You
doing all
all
right?
ready to go back through how it all started and how you ended up where you are?
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Dave is part of the Virtual Towers Online team, alongside me and Pete and a lot of other people as well. But well, I'll just say a load of other people. There's a few of us now. But stay tuned to the end of the stream because we are going to drop a brand new screenshot that nobody's seen of Katanga Canyon in the area. So really looking forward to getting your reaction from that. And if you don't know as well, Dave actually made the Air documentary that featured John Wardley as well. So we're going to be touching up on that. And we're going to be talking about basically how he got into doing the videography and all the vlogging and everything that he does on his channel. And if you want to check out his channel and you're not subscribed, then the link is in the video description below. Me and Dave are really good friends. Quite ironically, this year was the first time we actually met. And actually went to Towers, and we basically stood by Nemesis for three or 4 hours.
Yeah, just getting loads of footage.
Yes, for obvious reasons. But hope everybody's doing well. If you do have any messages for us in the chat, please fire away because we will be able to pull them up, and I'll be able to say hi, Mike. Hi, Billy, for you. Hello, Jess, and hello, Aaron. Hope you're all doing well, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, let's get started, shall we? So let's talk about how you became an enthusiast and what it was like your first experiences with rides and coasters and stuff like that. Fire over to you, man. Over to you.
So, as with many enthusiasts, I bet it all started for me with Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yep.
So I had no idea, that was something I was going to end up being interested in. My uncle bought his first proper PC, and I was all over that. And then I saw this game in Curry's at the time. I was like, I want to give that a go. So bought it. And I thought, I'm enjoying this. And I got more and more into it. And then, you start doing your research. This was the early days of the internet. What was it?
Coaster
The
Force.
year, 1999, 2000.
Yeah.
And it all just kind of went from there. Mum and Dad used to take me to Pleasure Beach as a kid, but I was never really into the rides. They were too big for me. And I'd been on a couple of roller coasters as a kid and don't really remember it. And yeah, playing the Pleasure Beach scenario on RCT is what got me kind of right, I'm going to Pleasure Beach now and I'm actively seeing what's what and wanting to do things.
Definitely.
So the first coaster that kind of got me hooked was Grand National. And it didn't put me off like a lot of people it does or would. And yeah, I just went from there. Grand National, followed by Wild Mouse, and then the first steel coaster was Revolution, and then it snowballed from there.
Wow.
I think I went to Pleasure Beach for the first time probably when I was something daft 4 or 5 years old. But
yeah.
And then it was every year from then on. We went through a phase of going for the TGI Friday thing they did. Thank gravity, it's Friday. I remember being pulled out of school for that. And then Mum and Dad took me to Towers for the first time in about the year 2001, 2000 and something like that. And I remember getting hooked from there on. So I think RCT is to blame.
RCT, yeah, for sure, man. I think it's very similar. As soon as Loopy Landscapes came out for RCT, I was just like, damn, Alton Towers needs to be visited. And at the time, my parents I'd been as a kid, they've told me so many stories, oh, I remember you being in the pram around the Swans when your nan and your granddad were on the Swans and you were just running around like a little toddler. I was like, yeah, I remember that, thanks. Yeah. Probably the Towers probably looked the nicest they ever looked back then as well, all the trees and everything would have been so much different. To see it back then would have been so cool. Remember it would have been awesome. But when you get on Loopy Landscapes, I was basically at school and we were trying to get a trip to Towers, and Jordan Daniels, big up to Jordan if you're watching this, we managed to get a trip going with our farm tutor, Mr. Shepherd, and he was It was amazing. It was the best time ever. I've been following like Oblivion and Air and everything, like on Coaster Force. Everyone would go play football. I'd be straight up to our farm room, bang on the computer, Coaster Force, checking what's coming out, looking at like Millennium Force on the banner and being like, geez, like that's massive. And like just seeing all that stuff and like Air's construction, and yeah, it was amazing. I remember the first ride I went on at Alton Towers was actually Oblivion, which
was it?
Yeah.
That's a big step.
I know, right? So, and then after Oblivion, I got in the queue for Nemesis, got all the way to the station and chickened out.
Yeah, I probably would have chickened out on my first time if it wasn't for me mate at the time just literally pulling me by the arm as I was walking past one of the tentacles, thinking, the track goes into the ground.
What's going on? What a ride.
Oh man.
But it's all the memories that make it all, like, it all comes back to you, doesn't it, when you're in the queue lines and stuff. Now you're thinking, I remember that back then. I remember what it felt like to not want to go on Nemesis and be scared, and now it's like we're going on Nemesis like every time we go. Like,
and you don't even think twice about it.
No, you don't. No, it's just second nature. It's autopilot when you go to Towers, straight to Nemesis. It's that's what it is. But it's interesting because I know that Sean from Parksville he's talked about it on the Chain Dogs podcast every Wednesday at 7:30. We have spoke about it before. He didn't have any fears or anything like that, but I really had a hard time getting on. Like, I had a really difficult time getting on.
Yeah, no, I did as well.
But after I did, man, that was it. That was like it was crazy. I mean, I remember when we went to Porto Ventura to Salou as a family, and Dragon Khan chickened out, Stampeder chickened out. Then we went back like a year later, and I was like literally pulling the family round the park.
It's crazy. I would love to have that fear again. Maybe not quite on the top level, but
yeah,
I remember the first time I went on Revolution. It was Iron Brew Revolution at the time. My dad took me on.
What can Iron Brew do for you?
As I was sat there, like with my hands on the restraints, and my heart was, I don't think I've ever known my heart to be going as much as that. Dad didn't seem bothered at all. And then we came back, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't do it again. I got to do it again. And then my mate had to drag me on the big one. Like, I wanted to go on it, but like I couldn't have done it without someone there. Yeah. And then Nemesis. And then from years after that, the only rides that I struggled with were Oblivion. Still got my heart rate going for some reason, going around that slow turn.
It still gets a lot of people. I know Joe, Theme Park Insanity, like we were going on it. He said it on the vlog. He was like, I think I'll give it a miss. I was like, Joe, come on, man. It's nighttime. Yeah. It's going to be one of the best rides you ever had. And he got off. It was like, I'm so glad we came on. Like,
yeah, man. No, the only type of ride that still gets me to this day are shot towers and drop towers.
Yeah, drop towers is big for
drops
me.
More than shots, though.
Yes. Yeah, shots are more fun than drops. I don't know why. I think it's because you just got there. Yeah, that is a big ride.
Yeah,
you're filming it. I've seen some of your footage from PA, and like you're filming it, it's just like.
Oh, you're falling forever, aren't you? On that thing?
Yeah, it's like detonator. It's like whoop, and it's done. And it's
still packs a punch though, detonator.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's a good, decent little drop tower. It's fun. I believe they've taken the boosters that used to shoot it down. I think they're off now.
I didn't know that.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Feel free. But yeah, I keep knocking things over. Like I've got a new monitor. For anyone that doesn't know, I've got a new monitor. So like the arm used to come to the middle of the monitor. Now it comes to like halfway across it. So it's not halfway across. So it's not even close. So I'm kind of like on an angle. So sorry if it looks a bit awkward. Yeah, it's difficult, but it's so good. Like I've got 4K resolution now, so the No Limits videos and stuff that I make, it's just it's so nice to work in.
Stuck on HD here.
Yeah, the big one drop for me, that was a big one to get over. No pun intended. It was. Yeah. And when I went on it with my dad, it was the first time we ever got wristbands together. But we went in and we got full wristbands. My mum was like, she got one that she can go on a few rides, but not all of them. I think it was like a family package or something we got. And we were in the station for the big one. It's the first time I've ever been in the station. And I looked out the window and I could see like droplets just forming on the glass. And I'm like, Dad, it's about to absolutely shit it down. And my dad's like, what do you mean? I was like, no, it's going to be bad. It was like, okay. So we started climbing the lift hill. As soon as we got to like 150 foot, it started hailstoning.
No.
And it didn't stop. They just chucked us over and sent us. I was, oh man, it was so painful.
I've never experienced a coaster in heavy rain.
Oh man, mate, it was something else. The picture, I've got the picture, and I will dig it out for the Chained Up podcast next Wednesday. It's literally me and my dad just like this.
Yeah, God no. Yeah, the big one, I didn't like. It was the whole ride that just scared me with that. And the thing is, before I went on some of these big coasters, I used to worry about bits that you wouldn't normally worry about. I was like,
Right.
oh well, the Oblivion's drop, that's scary, isn't it? But that turn fully on your side, I bet that's horrible.
The vert turn. We all used to call it a vert turn, right? I'm not the only one that used to call it a vertical turn, like because it used to literally look like he went proper right over.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like Oblivion's
interesting little
turn.
fact. It's more than 90 degrees. If anyone's noticed, it's about 92. Well, if it's because it'd be it's about 92 degrees. It's more banked than its mirrored counterpart G5. Is that Fuji Q?
I think it is Fuji Q.
Yeah.
Comment below if you know. But yeah, that is a mad.
It's crazy. It is a mirrored clone, but the track, some of the shaping is different, which is strange. But there you go.
So was G5 after?
Yeah, because Blues was
after
the prototype.
Of course,
What
am I
you
about?
can tell it was the prototype because on the turns, so the turn between the lift and the drop, you've got conveyor, and then on the brake run, so you've got the conveyor, and they realised. Well, my theory is either they realised they didn't need it, they didn't need a conveyor because it had enough momentum to get around on G5. It just rolls around, but the problem is it gains speed and then it has to brake before the main drop.
Yeah.
Either I think they might have said, we want to keep the anticipation and the speed steady from the moment you get to the top and you come round. So maybe that's why they've got it on Blivs. Who knows though? It's a prototype. They get away with it.
Yeah. You better move more than that.
Better move a lot more than that.
Yeah. And I love that bit of the documentary where he kind of looks up and he goes, right, he holds you there and it's gone. And it's
it's
perfect.
His excitement as it goes around the turn.
Oh, John's a legend. We'll get on to talking about John in a little while. But yeah, no, that's cool. That you kind of had a similar way into it I did. Now, did you ever feel like when you was at the parks, like you just wanted to take photos or like, because I always got like one of them compact cameras, like the throwaways, the disposable cameras.
Yeah, same.
And I'd always have to like end the film at the end of the day, like taking pictures at fireplace or something in the house before we sent them out to get developed.
Just the rubbish photos towards the end.
The rubbish ones or the ones in the car, just like random pictures.
Yeah, that was me. So I'd take a disposable camera. It's a shame I don't have any of the pictures anymore.
Yeah, same.
You get to a point where you think, oh, that's rubbish, don't need that. Would have loved to look back at them. And then it all changed once I got my first digital camera. But the quality wasn't great. It didn't even do video. That's how basic it was. Yeah. But the major one was my first actual proper mini DV camcorder. And that is what I made my first ever YouTube video with. So, what year was that? I made that video in 2005. Uploaded in 2005. Pleasure Beaches, winter weekends.
That's mad. That's crazy.
I look back and it's a terrible video, by the way. If you've seen it, it's horrendous. But
it's the first one on your channel, right? Yeah.
But back then, it was great. There was nothing else like that on YouTube.
No, so. And that's where we're going to go next and talk about like no limits and stuff. Because obviously from RCT, grew the passion. You've always had an eye for like atmospheres and skyboxes and for making. I think that's what VTO. I think that's what you put your mark on VTO. Just the presentation side of things with VTO. It's like something that you always bring out in anything that we do. And that's what I want to talk to you about. Like, how did that come about? Like, did you ever want to go into like design and that side of things?
So in the time I was sort of
That's a good
emerging
shot.
as
Nickelodeon streak is good in the rain.
oh, you know what? Any ride in the rain, I'm yet to properly experience. So we'll see how that one goes. So
well.
as I was emerging as an enthusiast, like realizing what I liked, that was when I was in high school, and people would always sort of like the typical take the mick, like, oh, that's his thing. He's obsessed with roller coasters, roller
Yeah,
coaster boy,
same.
this, that, and
I
the
had
other.
like Nemesis logos on my mass books and all
Yeah,
sorts
yeah.
of things.
I had a
Air
folder.
swirls everywhere.
Yeah, I had a folder and I had like the pictures of the rides and statistics
Yeah.
about the rides and all that. Like it was like so
Oh,
bad.
that's cool.
But they
I
used
didn't
to
have a
say, "Oh,
printer.
what do you want to be when you grow up?" I want to be a roller coaster designer. And I remember going on John Wardley's website and they'd be like, "Right, this is what you need. This is what you need." And no matter what I said to teachers, they were like, "No, you need to pick something realistic. You
Yeah.
need to pick something realistic." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Whatever." So yeah, that sort of that's when I sort of realized that I might have some kind of feature in rides or theme parks or whatever. And I remember seeing No Limits 1, like the demo for it, thinking, oh, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
I
A blocky ass demo.
yeah. And because RCT kind of fulfilled something, but it didn't get that next level. It was the next level up. And I remember begging my uncle, please can I buy it? Please can I buy it? Internet still being relatively sketchy at the time. And
Well,
like,
for
no.
us at home, like at school, we had like the intranet and stuff, but like
Yeah.
at home, it was hard to get like off dial-up and onto
Yeah.
broadband.
Well,
Like that didn't come around for a while.
yeah,
We
he
are
did get
freaking
the
old, man.
broadband. Yeah, he did get the broadband in the end.
Yeah.
And it was more the fact that he thought it was dangerous to pay for it on the internet. So I couldn't get it. And then this thing came around called Hyperrails. And I was like,
Yeah. Oh
ah,
my God, right? Funny story about Hyperrails. We was at Southport one weekend and we'd done the park, we'd done Traumatizer and everything. And I was like, there's a rumor about this new game. I've seen it in like a magazine somewhere, like in a PC magazine or something. And I was like, it's called Hyperrails. And I went into game in Southport.
yeah.
I think it was Electronics Boutique. Yeah, it was Electronics Boutique. I went in, I was like, do you have Hyperrails? And they were like, yeah, it's just gone on sale. It's like a $5. I was like, what? I was like, Dad, I need this.
Oh man, my journey for that game was not as smooth because I didn't have money and like I wanted it and our game didn't have it and it wasn't in the days where you could go in and say, can you order something?
Yeah,
it was either
I
there
was
or it
so
wasn't.
lucky. I couldn't believe it.
And my best mate at the time, he was on a holiday in America, and he got a copy while he was over there.
Nice.
And he brought it back, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. Can I have a go?" And I remember trying to make Nemesis in the 10 minutes I had to go on it. Got as far as the top of the lift, and then I had to go. I was like, "Oh, can you copy it for me?" He was like, "I don't know how to copy a game." I was like, "Will it work?" Literally, put a blank CDR in a disk drive. Copy the contents over, and it just worked. It had no copy protection on it whatsoever. So I cracked, like literally copied and pasted version of Hyperrails became my outlet for creativity for years.
Do you think you can still use it? Do you think you can still use it?
I tried to find a version of it, but I couldn't.
I don't even know if it would work on our PCs these days.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
But yeah, Hyperrails was it, and then as the internet became more of a common thing, ditched Hyperrails. I would love to look back at some of my old project files for that. Managed to get a copy of No Limits. Proper legit, paid for it. That was when I got my own computer.
Yeah.
Same. And then it sort of went up from there.
That was expensive.
But something always lacked in No Limits for me, and that was the environment stuff. The coasters were good. If you put a lot of effort in, you can make a realistic coaster. The skies, though, were dull. The foliage was boring.
Yeah, it's just
that's half the experience. So that's where I started to make a name for myself on No Limits Exchange.
Yeah, sure.
Making my own skyboxes, and then getting in the creative side of all that. And that's kind of that went along with my YouTube channel. So I started doing not vlogs at the time, but I started doing like little music videos.
Yeah.
So I was progressing with No Limits while my channel was progressing, with the videos and stuff.
That's mad. I remember seeing your stuff. My mate Khalil, who used to live across the road, Kazi were called. He was the first one. He'd come back from Florida and he was like, "Oh, Cumber's amazing. You know, like everything's so good. The Hulk's awesome. Like you've got to go over there. You got to go over there." And he was like, "Have you heard of No Limits?" And we'd like go over to each other's house. We'd see each other pull up because he was across the road. And he had a mad computer. He had a loft bedroom as well. Like, you know how cool they were when they first started.
Yeah.
And so we'd just go up there all night and play on Roller Coaster Tycoon, like recreate things if we could.
Yeah.
And he said, "I've got No Limits." I was, oh my God, like, I've got to see this. And I remember seeing it for the first time. I was blown away with the POVs. I was like, "Oh, I can ride my coasters. This is amazing." Even though, like,
you couldn't make a smooth ride to save your life.
Yeah, no, you couldn't.
Actually,
couldn't make a brake run.
There was a small gap, so I couldn't get Hyperrails, could I? So I ended up getting Disney's Ultimate Ride.
Yeah,
that was my go-to for a bit, and then it became Hyperrails. Then it became No Limits.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments what your first theme park video game was. It'd be interesting to see. Let us know.
Showing everyone's age, that will though.
yeah. Ultimate Ride, man. That was like a block indoor arena where you just like click nodes down.
Yeah, and you've got this over the top rock music in the background. And
it was
like...
it was so good.
But it was the best I had at the time, you know.
It was awesome. I spent many hours doing Ultimate Ride and RCT and everything. Hey Bobby, thanks for tuning in, mate. RCT for me, yeah, definitely. I think it's how we all start. It's
It's
John's
the biggest
fault.
influencer.
Hey Chad, how's it going? Nice to see you again, dude. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's awesome to see everyone in the chat. I know we haven't streamed for a while on the channel. I just want to apologize. I've not been very well at all, but we are back to it now. Regular streaming. We'll do a ride sim stream next week as well, and also on Monday night, I think Monday night or Sunday, me and Pete from VTO are going to be doing a Vote Coasters stream where we vote for our favorite coasters with the new CoasterBot Vote Coasters thing. It finishes on Tuesday. So, hey, Jake, hope you're doing well. Hello to if you guys have come over from the VTO Discord, just let us know in the chat and we'll know how many of you guys are in here and how hyped are you after them screenshots we dropped, because we were blown away by the response. We'll talk about VTO in a little while, though. So you went from No Limits to basically... and then I was like watching all your stuff, and your stuff on YouTube was what just made me want to play No Limits. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's what did it for me. I was like, you know, if someone can do this who's not like a developer in the game, like someone from outside the team, I was like, there's got to be something I can do. And everything that I tried to do was absolute crap compared to you. But it was it was an attempt. It was an attempt, and it inspired me to do. And it still does. Like, I mean, we were watching some of your stuff on your computer the other night, and I was just like, right, I need to go make a Galactica video right now. Like, I've got all this footage. I need to do something with it.
yeah. So the No Limits and the video and it all tied together. You know, the YouTube channel, the No Limits, and the Enthusiast videos and stuff like that.
So when did you start then? Actually, when did you get your first proper camera then, which enabled you to do what you wanted to do at theme parks?
It's a complicated one, because that little Sony mini DV camcorder that I bought in like 2006, that I made that first Pleasure Beach video. No, it was around that time. The years are close together, but that was the first sort of camera I had that could do something decent, good image quality, all that lot. And then I ended up with a few different cameras over the years, and it was all this solid state, not solid state, it was all the tape mini DV stuff. And it was fine. But I didn't start to get creative with it until I got my first mirrorless camera, which was around 2008, 2009, sometime around there. And that's when I started to like put more effort into the editing, and because the image quality comes up, so your production needs to kind of come up at the same time.
Sure.
And you just evolve with it, don't you?
Yeah.
Every time you get something better, and yeah, it's the major game changing camera was the Sony NEX3 or something. It was like a little mirrorless camera with an interchangeable lens, and that's when my channel started to lift up a lot more. Started doing some Towers shorts and some Towers vlogs, and then I stayed in the mirrorless world. Got a Sony A7, really expensive full frame mirrorless camera at the time.
Seen similar footage from that.
Which was what I did some of the Alton Towers resort videos with. I did two. I did one in 2015 and one in 2016, I think it was. I felt there was something missing in the Enthusiast world, where it's like shots and angles people haven't seen before with filmic cinematic music that's not over the top. It's just pleasing to watch. I started to experiment with all different types and different formats. Didn't get the reception I wanted, but I think that's because people don't have a long attention span. Because they were like 20, 30 minutes long.
Well,
and while all that was happening, I still had this ongoing thing with No Limits and the obsession with a certain two rides. The first one being the big one. If anyone remembers my old videos, I used to chase to get the best big one recreation. Went through several iterations of that. And then while this kind of all relates back, but it's the same sort of timeline, with Towers, seeing Air's construction, that was a big deal for me. Like, that was the first ride I ever followed the construction of. And I know that there's quite a lot of enthusiasts that are like that. And that's how they grew. And I was in the pursuit of the recreation of Air. So
first inverted coaster. I think I did Air before. I think I did Air before Nemesis. Yeah, because we only went back in between that time with school.
Then
I went back with my dad, my mum, and Kaz across the road, and Air. Yeah, that was. It was so
I remember taking a photograph of the fence where you could see the top of the first inversion.
It's funny you say that.
I just looked at that photo all the time. So that, I know I keep darting backwards and forwards, but there's several key themes throughout my time as an enthusiast, and those two coasters were kind of a big deal for me. Nemesis, even though it's like an amazing ride, didn't sort of leave much of a mark on me. It was a great ride, but Air took the limelight for me because it was so different. It was the first of its kind. No Limits, Air, and the big one. Very close little knit circle, that, for me.
Yeah. And you recently did try and do the big one. You threw it into Unreal, right?
Yeah, so I was like, No Limits 2 has got so far, but I want to see what the next level is. And that's like a huge step up, because not everything is there for you to work with. You have to get it over yourself.
It's literally a blank canvas. Anyone who knows Unreal, it's a pain in the ass. But the results speak for themselves. They really do.
Got it into Unreal, did a little video with it, just as a little mess about. I didn't have any plans to take it further. And I don't think I ever actually released that video, did I?
No.
I put it somewhere on a Facebook group for some Pleasure Beach archives, but that was it. So I'll probably upload that so that everyone can see what I'm talking about. But it was basically taking my No Limits progress on the big one, sticking it Unreal, and seeing what it looked like.
Yeah, and I remember when you put UDS on it, and it was just like, oh my god, that is
it makes so good. It just takes things to the next level.
It really does. And then you start faffing about with the settings, and then it's like, oh geez, it's real. This is the problem we have. Because we were looking at that in the chat, like me, Pete, and Dave, and we're like, could we do Pleasure Beach? And it's like, nope. No.
Not with Towers at the same time.
No, definitely not. But I mean, who knows? In the future, who knows? But we've we've definitely touched on a good few things there. I want to talk to you about how you came about, obviously being part of VTO with you and Pete, because obviously you went from creating Air in No Limits and then went to No Limits 2, and then obviously Pete at the same time was practically doing the kind of same thing, but with RCT and with that kind of thing. And then you both kind of collided. A bit of rivalry at first, I believe. There was something going on. Which is hilarious to think now, looking back. And so now you're just like super team.
Yeah. So
and I've been for a while now.
I'd never really heard of what Pete was doing because Pete came originally from the RCT 3 forums.
Shy Guys World, right? That was
something
thing,
like that. And I was working on Air in No Limits 2. And I just released my No Limits 2 version of Air. And it was like, it was the first major recreation that had been done in NL2. So the devs were very interested in it. They enjoyed it and it was quite successful. And I did a video of it and Pete watched it and he was like, but basically he was critiquing it as he does. And I noticed that he was starting to branch out to Air on No Limits Exchange because he had his own thread with his progress and I had mine. And I noticed he was branching out to Air. I was like, I recognize that 3D asset. I recognize that 3D asset. I recognize. And I basically was like, I'm not having this. So I was like, you've had some of my assets. And then he was like, no, they just happen to look like your assets. And lo and behold, they were. They were just modeled as reference off each other, which is why they looked similar. So me and him were kind of firing at each other. And then a previous member of the team at the time was like, right, you two, stop, cut this out, come into this call and talk to each other and get this sorted. So we did. And that was the beginning of it because he was basically like, I've got Nemesis, you've got Air. They overlap each other. Let's get that. And you know what? Let's see what we can do. And it just it snowballed from there because Pete was getting involved with another team member and then another team member. And then before you know it, VTO was born and it just goes from there. But yeah, me and Pete went from being enemies to best buds, really.
Yeah, so. It's mad. I remember when you dropped the Hex demo, the first Hex demo.
Yeah,
I was like, this is just. I couldn't run it. I was one of them people that couldn't run it.
This is the thing. Oh, the old stuff poorly optimized. That's why things have to be redone again and again. So I got talking with Pete, and all this is going on. YouTube channel is continuing to grow, and we got to the point where we were like, I want Air to be perfect. And I tried hours and hours and hours of looking at photos, lining the track up with overlays. Right, I've got it. And then you ride it. Oh, it's not quite right. And I was pulling my hair out. And I thought, there's only one way I'm going to get this right. And I sent an email speculatively, completely on a whim, to John Wardley, saying, this is what I'm doing. Can you help me? And he was like, I got the amount of emails I've sent between me and John over the years. It's like quite a lot, but like you have to be kind of careful when you first messaging someone, because I idolized this guy for years, thinking, oh, not worthy. He'll never message me back, and he did, and he was really helpful, and he was actually able to give me a little asset, basically. John has access to digital representations of work he's done over the years, like a screenshot or a thumbnail. And he was able to send me a relatively low resolution but useful plan of Air. And it had some really useful parts on it that I was able to line up. And it was like, right, recreation is really starting to come together now. So it was continuing this back and forth with John. How high is the lift hill? What angle is it? This, that, and the other. amazed that he knew the answer to all the questions. I was like, I thought that he designed it like on a napkin and threw it at B&M and said, just do that. But no, he knew all the technical information. And by just talking to him over the course of these emails, got this recreation to a level which is, well, it's beyond anything anybody's ever done. And then just over the years, back and forth, got air right. And Pete was working on Nemesis, and we just kind of got this vision for VTO. Like, if it's not perfect, we forget it. Or if we can't get it close enough to a level where we're happy with it, we look at something else. We try it a different way.
Yeah.
So, VTO has become something we never thought it would have been.
Yeah.
It's evolved so far,
Yeah, definitely. And the last release that we all dropped last year in 2020 was massive with Wicker Man and with everything in there. We've just had like so much. We've inside the team. We've had so much go on. People coming, people going, and it's been for me. It was literally just because we were hitting lockdown last year. This time last year, we were in lockdown. Now there's been a year I've been part of the team, which is mad. And I said to Pete after the stream that we did with him, the dev stream, I was like, can I help? Like, is there anything that I can possibly do to help? And he sent me a blank Katanga Canyon and made me install Unreal, and I've still installed it to the wrong drive. So it runs like trash still. So I still need to sort that out a year later. Lol. But and I just put some trees down, did some foliage work. You guys all seen it and was like, yeah, it's great. Like, come on board. I was like, brilliant. And yeah, and to look at it now, to look back on everything that we've done in that time, I know we've not released anything publicly, but it's coming. It's definitely coming. It's gonna absolutely blow you away. And the screenshot we're going to show you in probably in the next 20 minutes or so is representation of all that hard work that's gone into sorting the game out, making it optimized. We're hitting a solid 60. Pretty much.
That was a big thing, wasn't it? Optimization.
Hi, Pete.
Has he finally joined us?
He's finally joined us. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's going really well, and we're working hard. A few of us are absolutely grinding our asses off to try and get an update as quick as possible.
Just to touch on something, actually, you might think to yourself, why would anybody leave the project? Why would any of the developers leave? And the thing is, it's a much bigger commitment than you think. You can go dormant for a while, but it gets to a point where you think in the back of your mind, like, I'm part of this, but I'm not contributing. And you have to commit so much time. I had to be really careful through lockdown because I've got one of those personalities where I can get absolutely absorbed in something. And I can put other things
in
my mind that I shouldn't. And I'm such a sod for it. Like, I will constantly focus on something until it's done.
Hey, Chris.
And the problem with VTO is it ain't ever going to be done.
No.
I think I remember working on the edging of the grass around the lawns for about 3 hours one day. And like, I was like, I'm going to come off it in a minute. I'm going to come off it. And I never did. And when life is chaotic, or when you've got a lot going on, sometimes you just have to say, either I'm having a break or I'm going completely. And we get so many requests of people saying, can I help? Can I help? Can I help? And the problem is differentiating the people who legitimately want to help and give their time, give a lot of their free time to it, or the people that just want to come in, see what they can get their hands on, see what's behind the scenes, and then when they're actually faced with a huge task, they think, I've got time for that, and then they go. So you've got to be. It's actually quite a difficult selective process. And Luke was spot on. Perfect candidate. Hard work.
Well, I'm great at placing rocks and trees. What can I say? It's just what I do. Ride Sims, if you're watching, I'm better than you, mate. But you can have a rock. I'll find out. Sorry, not Ride Sims. What am I on about? Ride Flicks.
As a drink.
Ride Flicks, if you're watching. Better than you at placing rocks. Not ride sims. Definitely not better than ride sims. Take that completely back.
Say that
Shit. But yeah, no, it's been awesome to be part of the team and to help you guys as much as I can with what I can do. And it's been fun. But let's go back. You were talking about John Wardley, obviously. I've met the guy once. He signed the vampire wheel that's behind me on underneath the pumpkin there and my book and everything. And I said to him, when are you coming back to No Limits? And he was just like, I'm not. You guys are too good. I was like, give over, you're John Wardley. And he started laughing. This is such a nice guy.
He really is.
Yeah.
I'd never met him at a theme park. The first time I met him was here at the house.
That's mad. That's
so
crazy.
Yeah, so I mentioned obviously that I've been talking to John back and forth emails over a series of years, and
hey, Parksville.
And then I basically I don't even know where it came about. I was just like, I can't believe I've not met him yet. And I thought, how can I take what I do for VTO and what I like to do with videos and combine it all together? And I was like, let's go for a documentary.
So glad you did.
I suggested the idea to him, and he was like, yeah, that sounds interesting. And I was like, just to be sure, I want to talk about Air, though. I don't want to talk about Galactica. And he was like, good. And I was like, right, okay. So I had to kind of think to myself, what am I going to do? What structure am I going to go for? So I made a list of questions that I felt hadn't been asked before.
Yeah.
Because I believe that if you're going to do something like this, you need to bring to the table content that hasn't been talked about before. Otherwise, it's just another documentary. Documentary. And no one had really done a documentary about Air before.
No.
Because in the community, it's not adored as a ride, because it's not majorly thrilling. It is a poor throughput ride because of the complexity of it. But it's, for the time, it was state of the art, and that's what captivated me about it. So yeah, I basically said to him, let's do this documentary. At the time, I didn't drive, and he was like, oh, that's fine, I'll come to your house. I was like, what? I was like, is this happening? Is this for real? I honestly thought I was dreaming. The night before he came, I was well nervous.
I bet.
I remember walked down the road to the car park where he parked up, and I walked up with him to the house. Just came into the house and just put
because he ain't getting through that gap.
Yeah. And I live up an alleyway where it's dead narrow and you can barely get a car through. And
it's crazy. We watched Dave's dash cam footage like on a daily, and when he's driving home, I'm just like, how do you do this every day?
Yeah, there's been a few scrapes over the years, angry scrapes. So yeah, he came up to the house and put a brew on, and we were just talking about.
He put a brew on.
Well, I put a brew on.
Just make yourself at home, John. All right, you want a brew?
I made it in the air mug, obviously.
Nice.
And
nice touch.
We were talking about Icon's construction at the time, and what was it now? We were saying. So I think what I like about John is he's the only person I know who can be totally, completely professional, but still have a dig at something and make you laugh about it at the same time. It was something in reference to Pleasure Beach. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was very surreal, because here's this guy who I've idolized for years in my living room, and I've got a camera on him, and
the microphone.
Yeah, and a light and everything, and it's just like, I can't believe it happened. And yeah, I just reiterated to him, I want the interview to be about Air, its conception, how it all went through. And I was telling him that I had all these visuals that I wanted to accompany it. And yeah, I think he was just really happy to help. And I think you've got to, he's not going to accept every offer from every email he gets. I want to do this, I want to do that. No. You've got to have that relationship to begin with. And I think as the type of person he is, being a ride designer, a consultant, albeit retired, he's going to have always had that attention, people emailing him left, right, and centre. Sure. And, I'll give him his due. Every time I sent him an email, 8 o'clock the next morning, bang, response every single time. He even replied to me while he was on holiday in Vietnam once, and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "I've only just got back" or something. That was when he was sending me some of the air information, and I was just like, "I can't believe it. He's helping me out." You know, such a top bloke.
It was so good.
But please don't go messaging John now saying, "Can I have this? Can I have that?"
No,
because that's not how it works.
No,
you know, if anyone's thinking that, you know, you've got to have that connection over the years, and I just feel very lucky to have had that dialogue with him.
Well, my opinion, that documentary, like I've said it a million times, it's the best one. It's the best short film on YouTube to do with theme parks, in my opinion. It's everything that it needed to be. It's narrated brilliantly. Your voiceover on it's perfect. The quality is perfect. His answers are awesome, and the visuals that you threw in, when you did what Air could have been, inspired me to do my series, which then obviously in turn inspired me to talk to you guys at VTO to check out what was going on with that. And if I wouldn't have done that, I would never have met you and Pete.
That's it.
So it's mad how much that documentary, and I've said it 100 times, guys, tonight. Go and watch it. If you haven't seen it, links in the video description below. Honestly, it's fantastic. And make sure you comment as well that you came over from the stream, because it'd be nice to know who's watching.
Great to see the comments.
Yeah, definitely.
That's another thing I just need to touch on, is the fact that John is very supporting of what we're doing with VTO.
Yes.
Very supporting. He's actually played it. You know, I forgot to mention, the interview was only one part of the little story I had with John
when he came around.
Yeah, because he came around, did the interview. He was here for about an hour and a half, and then left. And then he picked up on the fact that I was quite tech savvy and all that sort of stuff. And he ended up coming around a couple of times, just coming around for a brew and helping him with the computer and stuff. And it was just like, I'll never get over that.
Nah.
We want to make another video, though. I'm yet to push the idea to him. And I want to make it about the ride everyone's obsessed with, but I don't want it to follow the same formula that everybody else's video has. It needs to bring something unique.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're going to bring the visuals.
Yeah,
we're going to bring the visuals.
For sure, it's going to be epic. Can't wait. I can't wait for next season, man. I mean, we filmed the vlog this year when we first met up at Towers. Well, actually, when we first met up outside my house when you picked me up. But we've been talking on Discord for a while, for about almost 6 months, something like that, before we decided to do it. And we're actually going Lightopia as well, aren't we? So we're going to be filming a little bit for that as well. That's cool. But we were filming. We filmed a vlog, and that was fun. But we're going to be doing lots more next year, like loads. And we got so many ideas. And Dave has actually helped create some of our visuals for moving forward with the streams and stuff.
We had a little idea.
We had an idea tonight to show you something, but unfortunately, StreamYard's not playing ball. So what will probably happen is Dave might upload the video and show you guys what it is. But we'll sort that out after. But yeah, we've got lots of plans. We're definitely going to be working with Dave a lot here on the channel, and Pete as well. And we're just going to basically just try and make the best content as we can for you guys, whether it be through VTO or through CoasterGen or through even if you guys decide to come on the Chain Dogs podcast at some time, that'd be cool to hang out with us lot on there. That'd be pretty sweet because you can let your hair down a little bit on there. It's especially after last night. Jesus, I went to town on a few things. That was funny. I hope everybody laughed. Anyway, that was only my intention, to make everyone piss themselves, basically. But it's all fun and games, and we're just trying to produce the best things we possibly can for you. And with that being said, I think it's time to show something that we've not shown, which literally got done today in VTO. Yeah. Should we show them?
You can go for it. I was working, and then I looked at my phone, and I was like, hang on a minute. It's like
That's
they've done loads of work.
Yeah. So Here we go, exclusive here on the channel. This is a screenshot of how Katanga Canyon is looking. And there you go. So we've added the rope bridge back into the original because that's what was there on opening. We've added the head choppers back. We've added a ridiculously tall pole for no reason. That's there on opening as well. And what you can see there in terms of all of the writing that's on the head choppers, there's a little sequence there, and it's all fun and games. It's really funny, and you'll really enjoy it when you guys get to ride it. But yeah, there you go. There's a screenshot. I will put this in the Discord server later, and I might post it on the socials as well. But yeah, there you go. There's a little treat for you guys, and you can see the amount of work that's gone on since the last screenshots that you saw, which was pretty much the other day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really happy and proud of how that's looking. I really am.
So yeah, when we're itching to show like so much of the progress, aren't we?
Yeah. Across the park. Let me just phrase it that way.
Yeah. Not in any one particular area, but
no, no forbidden places at all. No.
I would love to drop just loads of screenshots, but yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we have to keep you guys wanting. But we want to be more transparent with the community, and I think that's what I've tried to set out to do with Inside the Team, is to try and give you screenshots, try and give you updates, and we are going to be doing some streams as well at some point when we've got more to show off. But yeah, hopefully you're enjoying all this social media and stuff. December 13th is a date that you guys might want to mark down on your calendar. And I'm going to put this out there. It's not an update to the game, but it's something that's really cool. So December 13th, you guys need to be looking out for that date. And there's a significance to that. There's a significance. It is. There's a significance to that date.
No one's told me.
No, right. Well, the thing is, it's because of a certain documentary that was made many years ago on a certain day. Was actually yeah, you remember now?
No, I remember.
December 13th. Yes, and everything's going well. So I can't wait to show you some more stuff on this in December. It's going to be fun. But yeah, so working with John on that documentary, I can't think of unless we can do something like we're saying in the future. Like that's got to be like peak for Dave Ainsworth's channel, right?
If I can do something with John and Nemesis, then yeah, we need to do a lot of planning. But yeah, I feel like we can bring something unique which hasn't been looked at before. Definitely.
Well, I've really enjoyed the stream and talking to you and learning about everything that you got into. We only touched briefly on a few things. We've been going for 53 minutes, believe it or not. Which is
time flies on this thing.
It's mad, right? But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this stream, and thank you so much for watching. If you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing and make sure you follow us on all our socials as well. The links are in the video descriptions below. We're off to go and work on VTO and to do some work. So we will catch you next time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Dave, do you want to say anything before we head off?
Yeah, the video that we were going to drop in here, I think Luke's going to be using it going forward, aren't you?
Yeah, for the intros.
So you can look forward to seeing that. I'll also stick it on my channel as well. So if any of you aren't subscribed to me or not aware of my content, if you nip over there, I'll get that up for you all to check out.
Yeah. And if you do like content throughout the week and you've only got 30 seconds to watch something, make sure you check out our shorts and make sure you check out that's our YouTube shorts, not our actual shorts. And make sure you check out our TikTok as well. Our TikTok's doing very well at the moment. We're almost up to 800 followers on there. So yeah, give us a follow on there. Give you a follow back. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Dave, thanks for joining me tonight. Really appreciate it. Let's go and do some work, shall we?
All right. Cheers, guys.
All right, man. See you later.
Thank you.